there's somewhat of a missing episode in this one because, well, okay, usually I would show how I make these, but I don't have access to Photoshop anymore, so I don't have the, basically I had to make these on another program on an old laptop, and I couldn't get that to appear on stream. But what I did, went into game, got 4K footage of the game, and, well, actually no, I did full 4K screenshots of the original, and then once I'd done all of them, I drew around them. It's relatively simple, then print them out, just estimate the correct size. I calculated it off the length of this, which is about right, and that would have made the whole nuke 88 centimeters. But, or the whole launcher would have been 88 centimeters, but that being 88 centimeters felt a little bit too short, and when I expanded it out it felt better at around 1 meter, so that's what we're making. Fortunately for me, because that's what I wanted. So after I made that, I printed it off, checked it, you can hold it and give it a go like that. Just make sure the trigger's around the right size. That trigger's going to need to get a little bit bigger to be held properly, but that's fine. But it feels about right for the length going onto a shoulder, so you don't need to worry about that. Say hello to my neighbours. They apparently want in. Okay, that's better. Yes, apparently my neighbour's exhaust wanted in on the stream, so there you go. So yeah, I've checked, it feels about right, like between the shoulder while holding it. There, it feels about right for what you'd expect, and much longer than that there, but it still just looks really thin, and it's like I just expect it to be like this wide or something, but it is precisely following the pictures from in-game, and I did not take extremely detailed references just to get told no. But if you check, that one there should equal 20 centimeters because it's the size of this, and nobody's going to debate that that is basically the right size. So with that lot out of the way, then I made these where I transferred it off of this onto like basically it's wallpaper repair wallpaper, and it's just much more dense, much more like thinnable, sorry, like workable paper, because this is just print paper. Then I made the top layer, a track for it, and one that's side on that you can actually hold. So all of those are going to be getting a looking in on this. But basically the start of this. Yeah, I'm not playing Mario today, I am making props. I'm supposed to do this every week, but I've been on break for a little while. So we can chuck that down somewhere I'll be safe and go get the phone. Yeah. Fortunately for this, we're using 10mm, no idea what rating this is. It is either 65 or 100, I can't remember. It feels like 65. But I've got a rather big full roll of it, so. Okay, it just fits, but it's huge. That's sort of what I would expect. Yeah, our edge can be on the outside, it's not that bad. Okay, let's move me for a change. Usually when I do this, I'm not in the way. Let's get a millimeter in. We're going to have to go in from this direction. Yeah. Okay, so that's going to be a bit we're adding on at the end. At the end, we're going to have to make 2 of these because top and bottom. A little bit to take out, but and just get this little bit here. Over, but that'll be okay. Good. Get a good sharp knife. Cut it out along the line. Whereas if you're cutting with a saw, you shouldn't cut along the line. Okay, that's not sharp. That's an That is a racked edge, if I've ever heard one. Okay. And this one here. Go in it, a little bit down, and out. So about there. It's giving me a nice little mark to aim for. Then I'll just finish the cuts, then pop it out. Ooh, if that knife was not sharp, that's going to be a disaster for me to deal with later. But okay, chuck on the scrap pile. Can I do it this way? Watch your hands on the knife. Chuck that by there. Oh well, it's okay if it breaks. Along it. Okay. Just neaten up that line a little bit so I don't get confused later. Yeah. Chuck the chalk back in. I'd say cutting like that's not the best idea, but you get used to doing it all by hand. Oh, that's not sounding good either. I'll blunt it in like 10 seconds. Okay, so that was a disaster. Alright, so as you can see, ignoring the usual instructions, that knife is not sharp, nor is that one, nor is that one, nor is that one. It's not a problem, I've just created a ton of work for myself at the end. Yeah. Just gotta go through and take off a little bit of this. I mean, this is going to get going over at the end with a grinder anyway, so what's going to have to now I can't believe all my knives are blunt. Actually, I can. This stuff is horrible. Like for knives, it blunts in seconds. So I'm just going to go through, do some tidying up on here. It's just like a quick little bit of snipping, it's nothing big. And this one here, which honestly is the best for the group. Those are good enough for what I want. Now, before we go any further, where is that toolkit and where are my knife blades? I'm going to put some new ones in. Do I have enough those box cutter ones? That's already open, so I'm not wasting anything. I had more of those, but I'll be back. I'll come back for that later. I swear, I had like a second blade in this. Oh wow, okay, correct. Get onto the little track. Mentally, I should probably have done this beforehand. Oh no, it is actually blunt. Get my least favourite knife. The idea of that ever being near my hand is terrifying. Okay, apparently these knives don't go in there. Despite being the ones supplied with the knife itself. Oh, that's because there's two of them. It's too thick. There you go. It's nice of them to give you some spares in the back, just in case. Okay, we can chuck that in. And of course I have my sharpener for when I eventually decide to sharpen them. Do I have so much to chuck these? Yeah, okay, this tub. Don't care what that tub was for, it is now for knives. Sorry, that took much longer than it should have. So now we transfer off that one onto this. And this one here gives us the depths. So again, top, bottom, and in the middle. There's a little trench going down one side that I've got to add at some point. Let's get that going because it takes all day to heat up. And I don't particularly want to be waiting when we get there like we usually do because I'm not that great at remembering. And of course I have to remember to add a little bit on the back, on the little fishtail at the back. So this thing's thickness is 5 centimeters, which means we need a 3 centimeter spacer and 2 of them. So a straight, no, actually no, 2 straight 2 centimeter spacers, 3 centimeter spacers, one for the front, one for the back. Now, will those be useful for this? No, because they're not long enough. They're going to have to be full length strips and I'm going to have to cut them properly. Actually having to do my job right. Oof, it's been a while. That's where it's supposed to cut like. free, 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 free. It does occur to me it's not all going to be necessary, but so much nicer with a good knife. Difference there. Okay, that's one for one side. And one for the other. I wonder who drew lines on it before. I doubt it was me. Definitely be careful with your fingers this time. To make boats. I'm making a Fatman launcher from Fallout. Oh god, do you want me to browse for files for this? That's probably the right one. Yeah, that's the right one. Remembering the fact this screenshot is 4K, so it's going to be an interesting one to put up on stream. But I'm making that. I was resizing that on live, wasn't I? Yeah. It's going to be some time for that, but got to get those holes in it at the end and the slanted bits, so it does look basically we're going to end up with that type of slant going in the end. Then transfer it over to the second one, because yeah, 1 centimetre in as well. I've got to remember that. So no, it's really hard to remember where I've got the camera this time. But basically I've got to have a gap on the end for the thing to sit. Measure this thing out. It ends up being at 17 centimetres around about it ends. So that means that it ends about here. To gain around here. And of course we've got to have the 3 holes, so it's there, there, there. And there, there, and there. These are going to be relatively close to the bottom, but the pipe technique goes straight through foam, so we'll be fine with that. Surprisingly efficient for drilling. Yeah. Oh, whoops, I forgot to get ones out last time. Fortunately, that part has a dual function because you get some nice rivets out of it too. Come on, through we go. Those out because you should be doing them one at a time, or you get shot in the face. Ow. So yes, it is specifically that side that gets the back one. Okay, this is going to take longer than I thought. Let's not waste electricity on heating that for too long. Just put you there. Let you know, the top one is the one you do that on. So, you here. There. Check that around, put that on. Like that. For test fitting, best way around is tape. So fortunately, one side of this is just a full length support, the second one not so much. Let's keep going down. Yeah. I'm using the last good one for this side because basically it's hidden, because we're going to have the big bottle in front of this, so anything that I mess up, nobody will really care about. There you go, so that section off the end. Now we need a little bit going in that is big enough for the pipe. And this one starts up about 5 centimeters afterwards, so we mark that in. And we've got our bit of pipe material, so you know how deep that's going to be. ends up on about that line. Okay, maybe closer to there. Okay, so make it about that position. And then measure it, because if you don't measure it, you make mistakes a lot. It's about 2 centimeters. I'm going to regret doing that later when it comes to gluing, because it'll glue to the thing, it won't glue to the proper thing. So what's that little bit we had on the end that was waste? Just put you across like that. Of course, this lot's the rough fitting phase, so it's not going to be very precise, but oop, nope, no, you're not sharp. You are though. Worry about that end when we get there. It'll be a while. Like that. Looks and feels about right at this point. Love it. Put it on the right way. Also a reason you want to check for the glue. It's starting to go together. It's not brilliant, but I mean about this far back it will start flattening in as well, so we'll have that filling in the gap. So it's wow, that is way too deep. It's always worth test fitting the pieces, make sure it's got the right idea. So if we move it up to like 1 centimeter, like that. Stick you on. stick you on. Stick that on somehow. It'll be fine. Yeah, that looks much more like the actual depth I'd expect. But also we're going to have to recut the upper end because things didn't fit right. That's fine. I imagine it was already warm. It's probably be fine. I've done worse to it. Next up, we grab some 1mm foam. Where is my what? Where is hiding? Come on, 1mm. That's a tortured old piece if there's ever been one. Covering a radiator, was that a bad idea? Yes. I love the amount of things here that work out to be exactly 5 centimeters. So we take this. Do it 7. I know I said 5, but 7 gives me some room to mess it up and then tidy it up afterwards. Whereas 5 gives me no room for error. And I don't like that. No. Blind, you said you won. Oh, I don't have anyone. Oh well. He'll be fine. About there, cards. Cut there. And almost exactly the right amount. Cut there. Just grab that. Some glue along the seam. Making a roll this fin's hard, but I'll go find some 1mm if I have to, but that works far better. It's one of them. Will that actually work in the final thing? Yeah, it'll work. It's close enough. Roll it out, get as round as possible. Glove it off, reseal that side. For a bit that nobody will ever see, this is far more work than you'd expect, but two little tabs ready. Strings right way to my hand. Whoops. Squish down flat. Pop in there, run that around, and we'll be okay. Number one should have dried enough by now. But you know, we want that in position, don't we? Whoops. Let's cut that end off. Then this slant. That's an easy way to hold it in position. That's fun. So if we come down here and lop off that end. That was too much. Just put a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there, and there. And this one worked so well. That's worked okay. And the last one. that's enough. And then do the alignment. It's a lot of effort just to put 3 holes through something, but cosplay usually ends up being that way. It's like, you did how much work for what? So that one goes on there. Because I decided to reduce the thickness, it looked better. I can make that look pretty afterwards, don't worry about it. There's a lot of I'm going to have to make this stuff look pretty afterwards involved. Laid in, thank you. Just put that over. Seems to be going okay so far. But now we need a back section, which means cm thick, full depth, that's fine, because we just do the same thickness as that, which was 5 in the end, was it? So 3 in the end. There's 1 at the top, none at the bottom, and do a curved shape. How long does it need to be? That's the question. .63 centimeters. Fallout 3 is a great game. I'm specifically on with the Fallout 4 design because it's better resolution on the screenshots and easier to get models, but okay, so 3 by 63. Chalk. 3. 3. No, 3. 3. 3. 3. 63. 63. Just make 67. Right. Let's just put a free mark here. Chair back. To be fair, I have made power armour over the years. I have to set a T51 up there, so is the camera up on the wall there. But my 45 was the first. That was a lot of work. Okay, where is my... So at 37 centimeters from the start, it starts to curl up and make the fins. And drops to 1 centimetre across the top, which is going to be a pain in the butt. Oh, I'm sorry, no, 2 centimetres. It's going to lose 1. That's much better. Pretty sure, because I don't think that's going to fit in there. Okay, so I'm going to modify that to make it 1.5 because the full one wouldn't leave space for the pipe that's supposed to go in there. Now, admittedly, I could use something more accurate. I could like get a different size pipe. That into a curve by hand, the worst way to do it. That's going to require a lot of tidying up. So that goes right the way along top, so that can go on now. That's a solid part because it all combines into one at the end anyway. I would usually use contact adhesive, but I said let's cut it a few centimeters longer because who's going to notice? It's too short. Oh well. Going up, be careful. I only have one set of hands. And cut down here, so we've got that halved. Oh, sorry, to take that bit off the end. There you go. That's much better. I just hot glued that section together. All of this is getting glued together at the end, but at the moment I'm just trying to make sure everything fits. And then going for the doing it properly bit. Also, there's no bottom section on there because this bit here is going to be the bottom section, and it'll be stuck on like that, and then we have that gap with the pipe coming through the middle. body, that's pretty much okay. I don't see any major problems here. Oof, there's that gap for the trigger grip's going to be fun. So yeah, this side goes down first, that side goes down second. Well, we always get there eventually, but I've got loads. I mean, once the basic shape's done, you've then got to go for tons of detailing. Cosplay projects are always a lot of work. I mean, by using a blunt knife at the start, I have made a lot of work for myself. Just take this lot off. Also, I do agree with Adam Savage that you do generally end up making things 3 times. This is my second. My first was years ago. Yeah. And I'm sure my third will be madder than this. Okay, just flick that up. It should come up in one because... oh. Okay, there you go. That was the bit holding it down. All that tape around the outside should hold it in place. Emphasis on the should. Oops, not my light. But the best thing about hot glue is even if you mess it up, it just looks like messy welds, and then you can say, well, it's part of it, it's fine, don't worry. Now, I've said that publicly, everyone knows it's crap, but people do also use them to make messy welds, so shh, don't worry about it, it's all good. Stick this bit on. Now we need to mark out this little section on here where it meets up. Just grab a bit of chalk. reference, we know that this one ends up about 7 centimetres out. Sorry, 5 from the start, so I really need to find a less wasteful way to do that. So much chalk on my floor. Just measure out 5. Don't worry about that. We're going to cut that from both directions. Then attempt to make this a curved section. We have a slightly curved we have a slightly curved edge, so that'll be fine. Like that. So that'll do. Okay, that's essentially stuck now, so come on, off you get. In general, this whole hobby is a ton of measurements. Nope. Stick that down. Okay. That is better. I'm going to need some reinforcements in this centre section towards the end to support the bottle, and then I'm going to need some extra sections to support the fact that I'm going to have a shoulder stand on it, but where is the trigger on this? Yep, that feels about right. It's always nice to hold it the first time and go, ooh, I just don't feel like what's meant to be now. We want it. Let's cut the bevel bit on this one. Stick those on. Why are you so much taller? Wow, that worked. I'm surprised that worked. That was Not how I expected that cut to end, but... Wow, actually no, I did a pretty good job with you. Let's just get that bit. Getting there. Let's be one more waste I can use. Still 3 centimeters. Supposed to be. Free, and cut. Don't know what it was from. Doesn't matter. So cut down at 5 so it sticks, and then my little line over there. And flip this bit over. It's too short. In the grand tradition of my builds. No, that's too much. Actually, even doing this, my mind turns to mush after like an hour. Let's start, we're all like, well, you've got to precisely measure, and you've got to precise measure at the end. I'm just like, where's my hammer? Them, yep. We don't need to worry too much about the front. So let's get little cuts there. Do you know, when I'm cutting the baffles like that, I'm just holding the knife at an angle. There's nothing fancy or like smart about it. It's literally just hold a knife at an angle. Move that line across. Double check it's still correct, because that's why you check. made that wrong, didn't I? It's better. Well, that was cut real bad. Straighten that out. Okay, just put that there, put that there. Oops, wrong side. Just some along there and here. So glad I intend to cover this end over. I would be embarrassed by some of those cuts. All of them. So we've got like that. Now I just need to make a straight cut downwards. To move the fan out the way, and we end up with a relatively nice end. I've seen nicer. Okay, you lot on the scrap pile. Come on, let's get this tidied up a little bit. Get that off, chuck you on the mess pile. So next up, we have a section that's going to be full width of the thing, but we're going to have the trigger on it. So it is going to be, whenever I find my tape, 16 centimeters by 7. Congratulations, you volunteered. Measure out 16. Wow, that was close. Okay. Down there, it will fit, so that's fine. Oh, don't tell me I left every one of them up there. That'll do. Just about 2 cents, so 20 mil at the thinnest. Which bit's which? Yeah, it's good enough. So we need 2 centimeters. Okay, where's my good one? I don't want to wreck the one that's actually got the markings all over it. Now, chalk again, where are you? Down like that, cut down like that, and yeah, the back's a little bit more curved, so that'll do. Let's grab another one. Chalk. Where do I put you? Just make sure we're about right. Yep. Okay, cut that bit off. Here for that, and down here for that. Got a little bit of a curve at the back because it's easier with scissors. Stick the two together. It's going to be more work for me later to fix that, but there. Not intentional. Drop this here, so we've got that for an equivalent positioning. Okay, and we can stick that on. Surprisingly simple the way I do this, but oh, they come off like that. Okay, so yeah, so you don't usually do that. Usually you'd let stuff dry if you're doing it properly, but because I'm going quick, I'm going to make more mistakes and messes. Can I fit a bit of that through easily? Not yet. That'll work. Now we're going to need that to be longer by quite a bit. Ooh, that's a very nice fit. So I'm going to make the trigger, but when I make props, I tend to make something on them do something, so, you know. It differentiates the one that I make from the ones that don't move, but that's literally it. So what I'm planning for this is have the trigger sticking down in that manner, so you can pull it, but have a little bit of tape back there, a bit of elastic back there to pull it back. That should be about long enough for it. But that also means I'm going to have to put a stick through up the top to make it rotate on, which means I can't fill this in. And of course that's the top rail, not the bottom, so we don't want to stick on there anyway. Oops. So I sort of made the whole thing upside down. Okay, so that bit of detailing starts 2 centimeters, it looks like. About 3 behind this. That sticks on around here. So glad I have so much glue. I'd have trouble if I did otherwise. Yeah. Just drill that through. Okay, I was sort of hoping that would be easier. Come on, out you get. A little bit off there. Looks less monolithic that way. But now it'll come up from the bottom like that, and you can actually stick something up here to pull it forwards. So that'll work. Will it work without affecting the rest of it? Close enough. dry, please don't be dry, please don't be dry. That way. I did the entire thing backwards, basically. Thankfully, it didn't matter. Oh, that was close. So there's a little bit of misalignment inside, but nothing that I can't handle. I've done much worse. Okay. I don't know what that is. Yeah. I do not smoke. I've never done it either. Oh, guess I'd already cut that. Sweet. You there? 4 years without smoking, that's quite impressive. I have heard it's really difficult. That we can't do the inside bit yet because we don't have that. Okay, that's good enough to hide that. Right, so the supports are going to need to be here. Okay, let's start marking these. So, one at the end, which is right here. About there. And the ears around there. Let's put some supports in there. I'd always find a bit that's perfect and then it runs away. Put that in. It'll go that way. A little more. So that should... No, that won't be enough. Fair idea when it comes to reinforcing sports, how much I need. Should be enough. A little bit more off because it's a little bit too thick. Okay, and that's the areas that are supported, so I know where they are next time I need them. What else is there? There. We can't do that section yet. Which means we might just have to stick the rail on top. I was not expecting to hit this point today. But we're quite some way ahead. I guess I forgot I was good at this. Okay, very good. Okay, get some chalk lines then. Whoops, forgot to do 10, didn't. Oh well. Okay, that gives me some good lines. How are you blunt already? sharpened. Separate out. Yeah. Yeah. Another nasty edge on this one. It's okay, I've had much worse than these in the past. Get rid of all these little bits on the edge. This type of crap happens when you don't have a sharp blade. You really do need one for cutting foam. Fortunately for me, I was intending to cut those diagonal anyway, so it's not going to be too bad. So just got to be careful and cut an angle piece out here. Should have beveled it from the start. Whoops, went a bit too far with that. I'm not too bothered about the accuracy with this cut. This is just to no, finish it the way you started. I need this little angle cut here. It's all of this work just to put the rails in at the end. It'll look good when it gets there, but heck, it's take a lot of work to do now. Okay, so that's done. And of course that goes on there like that, with some proper spacings and not looking awful. Yeah, it goes right up to the end. I thought it did. Okay, where's far downs I need to go? Stop messing and get on with it. So because this one's much lighter to stick, you can start off with just with one bit at the end and not need to worry quite as much. Side of the track. That should be fun. Get that to run down the full length of it, and that was all off camera. Sorry. There you go. We now have quite bendy and quite wonky, but it'll be okay at the end. It always is. We've got that section on there. Thank you. They're that much, really. Okay. That over there is a relatively finished bit. And swap the around with this. trace this little section on. Honestly, I've made a better card first, just in case, but oops. So we just finish this line off down here, and we know that that bit is where we start. So grab this. Yeah, formally sharp knife. Okay, and do another one of them. Off them. Aren't you the formally sharp knife? Yes, you are. A little bit off the back. Bit there. Tidy up that. We've got one of them for each side. We're going to need a big hole for one of them. A bit bigger than that. Put them two on like that. We're in by a little bit, that's fine. So we can put the extra 5mm on them. Okay, and up the centre of them is this, so and number 2. Do that, scroll up around here. Like that. You may ask why I don't cut them all out like paper. That's because this is CF45, the lowest standard of foam they do. And you can see the difference by how easily it cuts. that in. Just cut around that corner. Around that corner. When be doing this, be very careful, because it's going to become a bit of a mess if you put them both on the right side. For a second while I go grab the pipe, because, do I have good cutter one here? I'm going to have to use like the 20-foot one. 20-foot it is, let's go. It's not 20-foot, it's just big. It's much bigger than I would usually use for this kind of thing. Yeah. Here. It's one hole. Clean this up a little bit. Get enough hole in here. Just doing that a little bit badly. Let's get out. This pipe was not made, was not intended for this. That'll work. Okay, what else do we have to do? Chalk, mark that out. And where's my other one? It's over here. So theoretically, if I just measure this, it'll work. So 7 by 9. Yeah, 7 by 9. Seven and 7. 9 and 18. Wow, okay, I've got the entire thing in one go. if you didn't 1 centimetre off that height. Grab that. Let's just tidy up this. Tidy up this bit a little bit. Stick that on. Drop that there. Wait, no, back there. There you go. Prices for guessing who got that wrong. Pretty much right, yes. Good. Just stick that box on the end. Let's tape those together just in case we don't want it to go too wrong. How back would I need to go for 1 centimetre? No, off the wire. Where is my chalk? always towards the end you end up with a bit of a mess going on. Let's roll that back up on top, let's have a look. There, that looks right. That there and that there. The box on the back starting to go in. Just a tiny bit thinner, I think. Anywhere I can use for this. I mean, technically, if I can use any piece, I will just use that. Yep, that'll work. Okay, and I'm going to finish there today because that's pretty much it for time. That back section's going to need some fixing up, and I mean that still has to be attached somehow, but I mean it's not bad for half built. Well, just starting really, because we've got loads of work left on this thing. So, thanks for coming. I'm sorry if you arrived late, but you know, I only work so much per day anyway. And hopefully, well, tomorrow I'll be running some more Super Mario Land 2, and I'll be back Friday working on my Fatman again. So, hopefully see you all then. So, bye.